Yo, a lot happened in week 1 for fantasy football. So we had some injuries, we had some unexpected things as far as it came to playing time. Today, we're taking a look at the best waiver wire ads as for the running backs. So first up, we're going to take a look at, and this is going to be, if they're available in your league, because depending on where you're looking at, I looked at Yahoo, and Yahoo, I'm going to be honest, for some reason, their ownership numbers are like 10%, maybe 15% under like Sleeper and CBS and stuff. But just in case, these are going to be some quick double check and make sure you got them. So Dylan Sampson, he's listed at 46% on Yahoo. Now he got quite a bit of run well, not really unexpectedly. We thought Jerome Ford would get a little bit more, but Ford looked absolutely garbage. So Sampson did a lot of the pass catching stuff, and we're suspecting Ford might just be kind of on the way out because Quinshon Judkins should be back playing here pretty soon. He was actually the second round pick for the Browns, but Dylan Sampson here was a little bit smaller back, kind of more of the pass catching, and I think he's actually going to keep that role. That could be a valuable role for the Browns. So take a look in Dylan Sampson if you need maybe some help for maybe a deep league flex or something like that, but he's pretty well owned, probably over 50% in most places. Next up, Bayshell Tootin right here. If you didn't hear, Tank Bigsby for the Jacksonville Jaguars got traded. He was kind of supposedly like the 1A, 1B, the way the coach talked before the season anyways, but that did not turn out to be the case. Actually, Travis Etienne got like all the work. He rushed for like 170 yards. I don't even remember what it was, but some crazy good game that I'm going to be honest, I did not see coming. But it turns out that they wanted only Travis Etienne. They traded away Tank Bigsby for like a 5th and 6th to Philadelphia, probably just to be like a solid backup, since I believe they lost Will Shipley, I think it was, and probably AJ Dillon, I'm assuming, looked like garbage because when doesn't he, am I right? So here's another one you can kind of look at, Bayshell Tootin. He is actually listed at 57%. So he's probably going to be taken, but if he's not, he's a guy that's going to be a definite want to pick up and probably use a bunch of fab on if you can even try to get him. He's probably on someone's team though. And next up, like I mentioned, another Cleveland Brown, Quinshon Judkins here. He's supposed to be back, I believe, this week 2. So this is another one, just if he's in your league, you know what I'm saying? 55% owned here on Yahoo, so he's probably like in the 60s on Sleeper or something like that. So you can check on him. Probably going to be a big waiver wire pickup. You're probably going to have to use a reasonable amount of fab, not like 90% or anything, because he always could get suspended later based upon the NFL's like their own investigation. But if he goes on the waiver wire knowing he's coming back, I would probably use 15 or 20% of what you got, to be perfectly honest. He could come in and just be, the first, second down workhorse with Sampson picking stuff up behind him. Or, it's kind of tough because he always could be a 3-man kind of by committee. Now, as we start to roll into maybe some of the other pickups, these guys aren't going to be absolutely insane. It's a lot of handcuffs. There weren't any big injuries. Kind of like, thank goodness for the players, they didn't get hurt. But also when there aren't those injuries, you don't have the big running back waiver wire pickup. So the first one that looked the most interesting right here is Trey Benson. Behind Connor, he actually got a little bit of work. Let's see if they don't have any of the stuff here on Player Profiler, but I believe he had like 10 or 12 carries in this game behind Connor. Connor's old. He always could get hurt. Benson looked pretty all right, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. So Trey Benson right here, probably the most realistic one so far that you can probably find. He's at 39% here on Yahoo, so probably like 50% on Sleeper. A lot of people can go ahead and pick him up. He's actually a guy I tried picking up just for the season, but somebody right after the draft put in dollar amount waiver wires on him in my league, which is kind of sketch, kind of scuff. Actually, the commissioner of the league somehow knew I put in a waiver claim for him after the draft and somehow put in $1 more than I did. Cool, pretty cool. We're gonna have to look at the commissioner about that one. But next up is another one that a guy that got a little bit of work. The guy in front of him maybe got a little dinged up, maybe not so much. The game was kind of out of hand. We're talking about DJ Giddens here for the Indianapolis Colts. He is only 3% owned, so you should be able to get him in like any league, but this is mainly like a handcuff. He went ahead and took mostly all the work after Jonathan Taylor got a little dinged up, and like I said, the score was crazy. Somehow Daniel Jones went absolutely bananas, and they just absolutely destroyed in that game, won handily. So it could be just a situation where he could have got like the slightest little bruise. He would have went back in, but because the game was where it was at, hey, Jonathan Taylor, take a seat. We don't need you. Let's get the young guy in here for some runs. Now, there was Tyler Goodson, another running back for the team that did not, he was actually out for this game. I believe he was injured. So he could be coming back. Maybe right here, DJ Giddens isn't going to get fully like the 100%. Maybe they would split carries if something happened to Jonathan Taylor, but for a solid handcuff, our young guy that looked like he did pretty good. Look at these measurables coming out of college too. 40-yard, 92nd, 95th for these 40 speed score and burst score. I mean, he's up near the top, like, looking great athletic wise. Young, or 22 years old, kind of, well, not young, but not old. Good age to be coming out of college with all these athletic scores. 212 at 6 foot tall, a good size. So actually, I like this guy. This might be somebody I try to get in some of my leagues as well. Not that I have any like glaring things, but I'm sliding like Kittle into the IR here probably pretty soon, it looks like. Next up is another handcuff. You never know what could happen to semi-old man Alvin Kamara, and we're looking at Kendre Miller. He had like 5 carries behind him, so not a lot of standalone value. Probably can't even start him here at a flex, but he is only 4% owned, so pretty much can get him anywhere. This is pretty much like handcuff status. Let's say you had a couple of people get hurt, or somebody just completely didn't pan out and you took them late, so you're just going to cut that guy, pick somebody else up, and you want to pick up a handcuff in case something happens to the starter. You can take a look at Kendre Miller. There was another running back. Kendre Miller had like 5 carries and a catch, I believe, in the first game, and some other running back had 2 carries for like 9 yards. I forget the guy's name. So Kendre Miller looked like the first up to be the backup. So Kendre Miller, he's been somebody that the coaching staff was sour on, but now they have new coaching staff, Kellen Moore, in there calling plays, and it looks like they are giving him another chance. He's always been an athletic guy, but can never stay healthy. Hopefully he keeps it together this time. And for the next one up here, kind of another handcuffs. This is a situation for the next guy that everybody else on the team really does not look very good. I don't really know what's going on here, but we're looking at Brashard Smith. Now, this is for Kansas City Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco, I feel like he's going to be better in the future, but there's no way of knowing for sure. And there's a little known, well, slightly known anyways, but 2% owned Brashard Smith here waiting in the wings. Now, Elijah Mitchell was a healthy scratch for this game because Brashard Smith here is the kick returner. He had like 60 or 70 yards in kick return yardage. Didn't take any carries or catch any passes, so he wasn't really playing. It was just Pacheco and Kareem Hunt the whole time. But Kareem Hunt is absolute dog doo-doo. Now, the thing is, they love him because he just, like, I guess he just knows football. He's the veteran. Andy Reid trusts him. He started off on Kansas City before he left, and they brought him back last year. Remember, last year, he was sitting on the effing couch. Nobody wanted him, and they just signed him off the heap. Hey, come play for us. And then he just, when Pacheco blew out his leg, and they just used him and used him, averaging like, what was he getting, like 2 yards a carry or something? And he's not doing any better this year. Pacheco wasn't good enough either so far in just this one game. But the thing is I think that he just needs to get more work, to be perfectly honest. You're only getting 8 touches or something like that. You don't have the chance to break one out and go ahead and get huge yards. So if he's only splitting carries with Kareem Hunt, Pacheco that is, he might be back and forth on games. Like one game he'll bust one for 30 or 40 yards and get that yards per carry up, and other games when he doesn't, because he doesn't get enough carries to have that opportunity to bust one out. So Kareem Hunt is really annoying, but remember, Kareem Hunt old, could get hurt. Pacheco coming off an injury, and Brashard Smith is the only other running back there I think that is active, actually, with Elijah Mitchell being not active. So this is super deep league. Like, probably don't put any fab on him. This is like a 0 fab type of guy, but maybe just keep an eye on as well right there. Hey, if you made it this far, hit the like button, subscribe up. I don't have very many subscribers, new to the game, so help a brother out. And hey, I got wide receiver videos coming up, tight end, quarterback, all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hang out, and don't miss them.